Support WrestleTalk!
Give us a subscribe. Thanks for your support on Patreon. He's no jackass, Dano.
Dolph Ziggler returns to beat down Kofi Kingston. Big E also returned, and R-Truth is still the European champion. And which recently released ex-WWE star will be at AEW Double or Nothing this Saturday. Click the timestamps down below to go to any of those stories. I am Luke Owen. Have yourself a super click party by giving us a subscribe, press the thumbs up, and leave a comment down below to answer our question of the day. Are you happy to see Dolph Ziggler return to WWE for Saudi Super Showdown? And make sure you vote in the poll above my head to let me know what you thought of the show, where you can choose from Smackdown, Smacktastic, Smack Bang in the Middle, Smackdowner, and a smack in the face. This is the 21st of May 2019 edition of SmackDown Live. Elias opened the show backstage with the best in the world. Shane McMahon, with Elias saying he was distracted by the huge ovation for his song at Money in the Bank, and that's why he lost so quickly to Roman Reigns. Shane said that he would be in Elias's corner tonight, but wouldn't need him in his corner for Downer Super Saudi when he faces Roman Reigns. The show kicked off proper, however, with Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods welcoming Big E back to WWE after 6 weeks on the injured shelf. After some random guy showed up under a cloth, Big E made his return to WWE and celebrated in the ring with his brothers, referencing his series of tweets about Mama Lynch. Big horny indeed. Kevin Owens and wildcard Sami Zayn came out, but Owens quickly walked to the back, upset at the sight before him. And Zayn cut a promo on New Day to hype his match with Kofi Kingston later in the show. This was a solid opening segment that didn't run too long, and it got all of its main points across. Owens is upset, Sami and Kofi have a match later, and Big E is back. Thumbs up this was. Although pickles give you rashes, might want to get that looked into, pal. This week's SmackDown was a mixed bag for wrestling, with several really great to good TV matches that were sadly hampered by constant ad breaks, which means we didn't get to see a lot of them. And that good action kicked off with Ali versus Andrade, which put the former Mustafa over really hard, with Andrade targeting his injured back from Money in the Bank and tossing him hither and yonder around ringside to get a countout. Ali kept making it back in, however, and scored a roll-up win on Andrade. This was all great. In a series of backstage skits, we saw Carmella try to hide R-Truth by dressing him up as E.T. so he could hide from everyone gunning for his 24/7 championship. And then he came out for Mella's match against Mandy Rose, which didn't really get started, however, as the lower mid-card ran down to cause a DQ and chased Truth and Carmella off. Later in the show, Jinder Mahal got a near fall on Truth, and the B-team argued over who should get the pin, and Truth made it out the building, still holding on to his 24/7 championship. It was all fun nonsense. Also backstage, we saw that Big E had been attacked, leaving Kofi Kingston without his wingmen for his match with Sami Zayn, which was fun despite the ad break making us miss a good portion of the action, and Kofi won with the Trouble in Paradise, but was then distracted on stage by Paul Heyman, who teased that Brock Lesnar might show up and cash in Money in the Bank. Be real, guys, this is SmackDown. He barely shows up for Raw. He's definitely not coming to work on Tuesday. When from out of nowhere, Kofi was attacked by a returning Dolph Ziggler. We haven't seen Ziggler in WWE since the Royal Rumble, where he was a babyface. But here he was a vicious heel who gave a wicked beatdown to Kofi, sending him out on a stretcher until Kofi demanded he walk to the back on his own 2 feet. Later in the show, Ziggler cut what might be the best promo of his career, saying that Kofi stepped up to the mark when Ali got injured, but it should have been him! Kofi was an overnight success, but it should have been him! Kofi even walked into WrestleMania for the WWE Championship, but it should have been him! He then challenged Kofi to a WWE Championship match at Super Showdown in Saudi Arabia. And while all of this was good, it is still just Dolph Ziggler. This would have been a great position for someone new and exciting like Buddy Murphy, who, may I remind you, is part of the SmackDown roster. He just hasn't been featured on TV yet. Instead, they've just gone back to the Dolph Ziggler main event well, which dried up a long time ago. Kofi and Dolph had so many mid-card matches in WWE that it became a running joke. So why have Dolph in this position when you could have created a new star, especially when you're promoting Undertaker versus Goldberg and had Brock Lesnar win Money in the Bank? Well, the answer is much clearer when the news came out that Kevin Owens has reportedly told WWE that he doesn't want to go back to Saudi Arabia for Super Showdown. And all of a sudden, it just makes sense. It's the same when Daniel Bryan refused to go to Saudi Saudi Arabia for Crown Jewel last year, and WWE hastily put together a short-lived rehash of the AJ Styles vs Samoa Joe feud, only to go right back to Daniel Bryan once Crown Jewel was out of the way. And while I'm not the biggest fan of Dolph, this was a great promo and the beatdown was really cool. So I am in for this feud as long as it's short term. We do need to build new stars, WWE. Speaking of building new stars, segue, and wildcard Lacey Evans teamed with Charlotte Flair to take on Becky One Belt and Bayley New Champ in a formulaic tag match that also had an unnecessary ad break. Flair tried to lock in the figure eight on Bayley, who then rolled her up to pin her twice in just a couple of days. The commentators heavily pushed a feud between Bayley and Flair, but Becky also teased the idea that she wants to regain her SmackDown Women's Championship. Even though she's a Raw star now, brand split LOL. After a hype video for Triple H vs Randy Orton at Saudi Super Downer, which chronicled their history from Evolution to WrestleMania matches to goofy home invasion angles, we got a Money in the Bank rematch between Elias and Roman Reigns. You know, the match that everyone was looking forward to on that show. It was all solid stuff with Shane interfering in between the ad break, but Roman overcame the odds and pinned Elias with a spear. It was exactly what you'd expect. Following the match, Roman overcame a beatdown from Shane McMahon, but was jumped by wildcard Drew McIntyre, who has managed to escape Baron Corbin's mid-card vortex, only to jump into the Omni Shane. And there are reports that the Elias and Shane partnership is done in favor of pairing Shane O'Mac with the Scottish psychopath, which certainly sucks for Elias, but it also means Drew is being the second for yet another person he doesn't need to second. The ad breaks did interfere with the wrestling on the show, and I would have rathered a new guy be put in Dolph Ziggler's position, but this was another really good episode of SmackDown Live. Even though WWE is in a creative rut at the moment, you can always rely on the Blue brand to provide 2 hours of solid WWE programming. Thanks, SmackDown! This week's SmackDown Live is smacktastic. And now over to Oli Davis with the news on which recently released ex-WWE star will be at AEW Double or Nothing this Saturday.
Great review, Luke, and great being in the right place at the right time on Saturday, because both Luke and El Fakador Laurie Blake were at the weekend's WrestleGate Pro Show when Hangman Page made a shock appearance to have his AEW Double or Nothing match against Pac a whole week early. That fantastic match is now up to watch in full on AEW's official YouTube channel. Link in the video description below, and tell them in the comments WrestleTalk sent ya. You can even see Luke and Laurie marking out in that video. But why were Luke and Laurie there? Well, we've got yet another big announcement for our Support WrestleTalk Support Independent Wrestling mission in tomorrow's WrestleTalk news. Just 1 week after announcing our WrestleTalk Scholarship Program for up-and-coming wrestlers. So make sure to tune in tomorrow to watch that. Apart from being the earliest pre-show match in wrestling history, Hangman Page vs Pac also wrote the latter out of this Saturday's Double or Nothing event, as Pac took the DQ loss, Pillmanized Page's ankle, and then said he only ever wanted to hurt Hangman, and now he's done that, he's quitting AEW. AEW have since updated their match graphic on their official website as cancelled. Dave Meltzer is reporting the backstage reason for this was down to long-term booking. Pac was apparently originally planned to beat Page, which would set up a later match between Pac and Kenny Omega, where Pac would lose. This is supposedly something Pac wouldn't want to do while Dragon Gate champion. Because AEW want wins and losses to mean something, there was now no reason to beat Page, which is a great logical approach to have. Double or Nothing is still a stacked card though, and Luke and I will be live streaming our reactions to the show this Saturday. If you're in the UK, you can watch Double or Nothing along with us on ITV Box Office. Head to www.itvboxoffice.com for more details on that, and follow them on @ITV Wrestling on Twitter for all updates. And AEW have just made another announcement regarding the event. A recently released WWE star will be wrestling at the show.
When the odds are stacked, always bet on you.
The Former Tye Dillinger in WWE, who's now going by the name Shawn Spears, will compete in the Double or Nothing pre-show's Casino Battle Royal, a 21-man over-the-top rope elimination match where the winner will get a future shot at the eventual AEW Championship. And of course, befitting of his former WWE gimmick, he'll be entering at number 10. 10. Which the Young Bucks said he wasn't actually supposed to reveal. Spears first responded to the announcement with a smirking face emoji, and then immediately started to build a feud in the promotion, tweeting, "See you soon, MJF," which makes sense as AEW are reportedly very high on establishing the young MJF as a homegrown star. As Spears told Sports Illustrated shortly after, "I'm able to bring a great deal of experience to a company that is looking to build young talent, which is vital to the future of professional wrestling." Tye publicly announced on Twitter back on February 19th, the day of his 38th birthday, that he had requested his release from WWE. Oddly, considering how the company are reportedly keeping the likes of The Revival, Sasha Banks and Luke Harper under contract, they granted his release just several days later. AEW was always a heavily speculated destination for Dillinger, as he is very good friends in real life with its co-executive vice president Cody Rhodes. Interestingly, he's currently in the process of opening a wrestling school in Florida with current WWE star Tyler Breeze. Has the Marvel Cinematic Universe just revealed their next big movie villain? Click the video on the right to find out, and check out that amazing Pac vs Hangman Page match at WrestleGate Pro by clicking the video below that. I've been Oli Davis, and that was wrestling.